double hitter this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Infiltration, extraction. Two of my favorite things. What do you think about Omega's gun?
It looks a lot like a certain bounty hunter's gun. I got to hear your thoughts on this. Who is this guy?
Well, first off, I hope it's Cody.
It's not Tech. It's maybe Cody. It's probably no one.
Well, I would have loved to have used my TIE fighter to get off of Wayland, but unfortunately, you blew it up, Konnor.
Are you too bougie for a Corellian Corvette, Seth?
No, but I would like to get back in a timely manner to watch the new episodes of Bad Batch. Did you hear what the episodes are called this week? Infiltration, extraction. How rad is that? That's two of my favorite things. Infiltrating things and extracting things.
Well, we will be back shortly, and then we can talk about...
Stop right there.
About...
Hands up on your head.
Okay.
This is an Imperial ship?
Yeah, well, in my defense, most Corellian Corvettes are Rebel.
I know, I've seen them.
Quiet. We've got two stowaways, sir.
Hey, there's no way I can reach my blaster. Can you reach your lightsaber?
I could try.
I'll try and block you.
Don't try anything funny. Hands where I can see them.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
Ooh, you are a machine with that thing.
Not too bad at that blaster.
Thanks. I hope everybody at home got to see that.
Yeah, I hope it didn't just cut away to some crappy commercial at the best part of the video.
Bad Batch?
Bad Batch.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Dune Sea. My name's Seth.
And I'm Konnor.
My favorite comment this week is from DJ Henshin Hero, and this was on our hot take about maybe what's going to happen with Palpatine.
Hot take.
Yeah, I guess it's our predictions for what's going to happen in the future with Palpatine. Yeah. Anyway, so this was his. Palpatine, killed at the end of the original trilogy, is actually just the reanimated corpse of Count Dooku. Vader is a Cylon. Grogu's parents are Alf and E.T. In the new movie, Rey uses the TARDIS to go back in time and make KOTOR canon. You heard it here, folks.
That's my Star Wars.
This guy might be onto something.
He's got it. He's got it.
He's cracked the code.
My favorite comment comes from our episode last week that we did on a live stream from Duel of the Kates, a member of the channel. I think Omega getting armor as a member of the Bad Batch is nice, but I prefer her to not have armor because I think all of the clones just want her to be able to be a kid. To not need armor means that she is safe and able to have a childhood instead of being made for war like the rest of them. I just have one thing to say to that comment. Where's the Duel of the Kates show? Because she's always popping into the comments with like some fire takes.
Yeah. Well,
I thought that was great.
Maybe
That's an awesome.
It is a good take.
It is a great.
Maybe she could be a guest someday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you got the perfect name to start your own show if you wanted to.
It's true.
Duel of the Kates. It's marketable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got great insight.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
No,
I was. That's a great point.
It's paying attention, and that's what's nice. Is it's like I'm into that. I like it when people really think about the stuff they're into, not just being like, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's more to it.
No, I remember when we were talking on the live stream, about Omega getting armor, what kind of helmet that she would have. And we were all just like, oh, it'd be sick if she had this, or what if she had Crosshair's pauldron?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the,
And Kate's here, like, actually, guys, you're all wrong.
Gentlemen, she needs to be a child.
Yeah.
Because she's been robbed of her childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it.
So, excellent comment. I really like that. So, good stuff.
All right. Well, hey, man. Double hitter this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Infiltration, extraction. Two of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I happened to notice there was no Asajj Ventress.
Oh, you're going to bring that up.
I sure am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You were adamant on Tales from the Archives
you
last
know what?
week.
I guess it proves that even Seth is only human. All right. Even I can make a mistake. I'm pretty good at the predicting game, and I thought for sure there are now 2 scenes in that trailer that we have not seen. So
the alligator thing, right?
Alligator thing, and then and then the stuff with the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all the stuff with that clone being captured and stuff like that was in this episode. So, sorry, I thought that I thought for sure.
I was giving you a hard time because you and
It's
Will
okay.
both, you and DiamondFigs
yeah.
both were like,
No,
nah, guys, she's in this episode.
Again, gentleman's bet. No one took me up on it. I'm happy that I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. So I'm man enough to admit I'm sorry. I was wrong.
I was giving you a hard time. I wouldn't have been surprised if she was like in a stinger at the end of 7. But she's coming. I still think that episode titled Harbinger might be it.
You think that's it?
Yeah. If I had to guess.
How many more episodes is that from now, though?
2, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 3. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Which one it is. But
Okay.
yeah.
Whatever.
1 minute review. What do you got? Just
For
double
both of
header.
them?
Yeah.
Okay. So solid stuff. I think that overall, definitely just more character stuff than really anything that got like the plot still going.
Really?
But what?
Oh, I'm just surprised.
That's me.
I'm
That's
surprised.
me. But still, I enjoyed myself. I think also I like my favorite takeaway from it is the fact that now we have a direction. Now our characters know this is where we need to go. And I think that's the best thing to come from these episodes. Because even though I enjoyed myself, I had a couple qualms. I'm curious if you had a couple qualms too. Because you and I haven't actually talked that much.
Yeah, about this one.
About this one. Or
Yeah.
these. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you? What's your 1 minute review?
I have a visual aid.
You love visual aids.
For my 1 minute review.
What's that?
It's a record.
Well, yeah, but
Because at this point, I'm just a broken record with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this show, it's fantastic. They've hit their stride.
yeah.
The animation is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the storytelling is just out of this world. I mean, I keep saying it every week
Yeah.
that the show just shines in the quiet moments.
Yeah.
And once again, not only do we have the quiet moments, we got some pretty high intensity action
Yeah.
too. So, good stuff.
Gotcha.
Really surprised you with that one, huh?
What was that? You just broke it though. That's the whole thing is like,
It was a cracked vinyl that I found at Goodwill. If you
okay,
must know.
good. I was worried because I'm just like, dang, you just broke that. And I hope that wasn't some sort of heirloom where it's like, sorry, people.
Yeah, me of all people.
yeah. Dunzo is for the art.
No, I was writing down, like, that joke came because I was writing down my review and I'm like, I'm just a broken record at this point.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just
it's
happy
every week. You know,
that-
it's good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm happy I called it back during our tier list. Where I was like, this show,
You
not
did?
enough people talk about this show, and I think that this show is great, and I'm happy this show has continued to be great.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that they have just everything good. They have they've dropped the dead weight from the past 2 seasons.
yeah,
The great stuff has stayed great and it's only gotten better, but there's just not a lot of low. There's not a lot of valleys right now.
yeah,
And it's like, it's rare.
yeah,
It's a rare thing in Star Wars that, like, because even my beloved Obi-Wan Kenobi has a few low points. You
Yeah,
know, we talked
it's
about
true.
that at length.
No,
It's like it's got highs, but it's got some lows.
and Mando too.
Yeah.
That, like,
Had a bad season.
yeah, it did.
You know,
Yeah,
and that's okay. You can have a bad season, but it's
You
like
can.
Bad Batch is kind of just.
it's slowly kind of been climbing. That's
But
what's
it
crazy.
started out like there's nothing that's been bad. There's nothing that in any of the seasons that I've been like,
yeah,
here we go. You know, skip. Like if I did a rewatch,
yeah. You'd
I
still watch them all.
don't think I'd skip any episodes.
Mhm. I think
Good
there's
stuff.
something to take away from every episode. That's what I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it before where it's like, in my opinion, every episode needs to either move character, story, or both.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're just kind of you're a serial, which Mando gets the opportunity to do that,
yeah.
which I think is fun.
Mhm.
But Bad Batch is not Mando. They've set things up that we were itching. We like, I got to see this.
Yeah.
I got to know what's next. And they're doing a great job of like they're just laying the groundwork. You get a little bit every episode.
Yep.
Get a little piece of information you didn't have before.
And I also love too is that we know that Bad Batch is finite.
Yes.
So it's like, oh man.
It does.
Yeah.
That is good. There's
Mhm.
nothing worse than I'm not a fan of the CW. I maybe made that clear before on the show.
I gotcha.
But I remember I used to watch Arrow when it first aired.
You filled the city.
Yeah, I liked the first few seasons.
Yeah.
But then it was just, you would find out before you even started watching the season, it got renewed for another season. It's like, okay, well, I guess there's not that much stakes here. Like, yeah, maybe a character might die, but I mean,
The status quo kind of has to be the same for
Yeah.
there to be another season. Yeah.
and so, yeah, there's something about this is it.
Mhm.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anybody can go.
Yeah. Because we know these characters aren't still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other Star Wars. So I'm really curious to see what a few of them, I guess, who
Yeah.
were in this episode. So stuff that we'll talk about.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So, I guess first thing, just because it's the first thing we see, the man is back.
your guy.
Captain Rex.
Well, I don't even know. He wasn't wearing even his
He wasn't
thingy.
wearing his pauldron.
Yeah.
No.
The-
And neither
like-
was Hauser. Did you notice
Yes.
that? Who's over there on your
Yeah.
side?
And neither was, does Wolf wear one?
No, he's got one of those things like Cody's got.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
antenna
A little
thing.
stick thing coming off his arm. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Maybe he's just Rex.
I know. And I think we joked in our group chat or
Yeah.
with all of our friends,
Mhm.
our Star Wars friends about if like that's such a Rex line, be like, Captain, I'm no longer captain of anything, just Rex.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's such a
Sure.
Rex. It is such a
And
Rex line.
I'm sure it will come up.
My thought practically is like these things are made of more of a material,
Mhm.
like a cloth material.
Yeah.
So he's just seen enough battle. It's not like he can go get a replacement from the barracks.
Yeah. I figured it just makes him stick out even more.
Yeah.
That the Imperials aren't using those anymore, really.
Yeah.
So I assume that it's just that it's keeping him. Yes, his armor does make him stick out, but like, yeah, he's kind of like trying to keep a lower profile.
Something else I noticed, I don't know if this is intentional because I know the big part of his look is to get him closer to Rebels,
Yeah.
but he's kind of becoming more of a shiny in the way he looks, like a reg.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's neat because in Clone Wars, Rex is he's our vehicle for the clones.
hmm
Like he's the guy. Yeah, we follow other named clones from time to time, but
Yeah.
Rex is the guy that we follow to get empathy and sympathy for the clones for their whole story.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of just in his appearance becoming just like another regular clone.
Just a guy.
Like I said, I don't know if that was intentional, but I think that's neat. It's a neat visual cue.
Mhm.
But anyway, so he's here and I like learning more about what he's up to. I like that, like, first of all, the poncho,
Yeah.
crushing it as always.
You're all about it.
Love me a trooper in a poncho,
Yeah.
you know, with Senator Chuchi. And who was the other senator from the
He's from
Separatist senator?
Raxus.
Yes.
That's Dooku's planet, isn't it? Or where?
It's the capital.
or the
of,
capital.
the
Okay,
Separatist
but I was
capital.
going to say that's in right where they weren't they going back there a bunch in the Dark Disciple book?
Yes.
So it's cool.
Tied up.
It-
Talking about good Star Wars.
how fitting that we just got done reading it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I did the Leo.
Yeah.
And he-
Did you notice what planet they were on? Where Rex's base, the purple planet. Did you notice what planet that was?
you know, I don't know what planet is it.
So this is pretty cool. This
Yeah.
was Teth, and the monastery they were on. I'm pretty sure is a callback to the 2008 Clone Wars movie, Rex's first
Oh.
appearance, and that's where Asajj Ventress keeps.
Yeah.
Who does she keep there?
Oh, the little Stinky, the little hut.
The hut. That's right. Yeah.
the huddle. Yeah.
I think that's
Jabba's
the same.
nephew.
It looks very similar, and I
Yeah.
know that Teth was also the planet in the Ahsoka show where the flashback that was supposed to be a battle there.
Oh, at the very beginning. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So neat that there's kind of it's a full circle thing. You know, it's where
Mhm.
we meet. That's not the planet we meet Rex from, but it's
Yeah.
the movie. You know, the first appearance is in that movie. I like that Rex is kind of one of the OG rebels. He's like an OG rebellion cell.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's cool too because when you start thinking about that, like Andor showing us Mon Mothma's like fighting the political battle, and then you've also got the rebels doing their thing
Mhm.
in their show, doing like with Fulcrum and all of that stuff, and then you've got Rex doing like a weird clone insurgents kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that it's interesting that like this rebellion, it's a rebellion on all fronts. Palpatine, that's why I assume that it took so long to try to crush the rebellion, because it's like there's several little
just
cells everywhere.
insurgencies.
Yeah, and it's like, you've got Saw Gerrera also, who's like, they're all fighting differently. They're all doing these different things. So
Mhm.
no wonder it'd be kind of hard to pin these people down, because they probably aren't all in cahoots with each other, and they don't even realize that that other people are doing things. So
No, I think that was really cool.
Mhm.
Because we haven't seen a ton from this particular era,
yeah,
from this kind of 10 years. Because I kind of break it up into like the rise of the Empire and then the Galactic Civil War.
yeah,
Like kind of two
halves.
And
Yeah.
the Bad Batch has been interesting because it's the first we kind of see. Yeah, we get Fallen Order.
Yeah,
That's 5 years after, and this is an integral period. And so it just makes sense, that Rex would kind of be leading this insurgency, this
Yeah.
first little pocket of rebellion.
yeah,
And now that we're getting more and more pieces, it's just so clear as to why the Empire failed, is that the Republic was, yes, it was corrupt, but there was too much good in it.
yeah,
You couldn't wash away all of it.
yeah,
And so, you couldn't kill all the Jedi. You tried, but you couldn't kill them all.
Yeah.
The clones, a lot of them were good people.
yeah,
It was a great idea to make them befriend their Jedi generals so that they could assassinate them all. But also, you made them have character and you made them have personality.
yeah,
And it kind of comes back to bite you a little bit.
yeah,
Was it worth it to get rid of all the Jedi? Probably, but
yeah.
fascinating. So I love Rex. Obviously, he's my favorite clone.
He's your guy.
I just like that he never stopped the fight. I think he has an interesting juxtaposition to like Hunter, because
Mhm.
Hunter is the leader of his squad.
Yeah,
But Hunter's like, no,
he wants to live that peaceful life.
I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done doing this. But
Mhm.
Rex is like, what? It's never a question in his mind.
He's a soldier.
Yeah.
He has to keep fighting. But it's really curious to see, how we find him in Rebels. Because he's not really fighting in Rebels. He's just
so
kind
it's
of
like,
hiding
how
out.
does this all end up?
Yeah, like how bad is this going to go for him? Because he's still ready to like gun ho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It's a good point. It's like,
Mhm.
what's going to happen?
man.
And nice to see Hauser.
Yes.
He's one of my favorites. I
Is that him?
got him sitting there. Yeah. Custom I made. He was my first custom I ever made.
Yeah, I remember you showing him to me.
I just think that I like the color on his armor. I think it looks nice. Have you ever heard of is it Tuck Tales? Is that what it's called? Have you heard of this? It's a Star Wars fan animation
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Tuck Tales.
Yeah. But it's not super long, is it?
No, I don't
Yeah.
even know that it's done yet. If you haven't heard of this, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description, but there's a guy out there who's doing this. I mean, the animation
It's
is
convincing. Like
it's
it looks
like-
really good.
it's better than most of Clone Wars animation, like as far as
Yeah.
the quality goes.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's just a fun story about this Commander Tuck, I think, or
Mhm.
Captain Tuck,
Yes.
if I'm getting that right. But anyway, the reason I mentioned him is because their armor looks similar.
Yeah.
So I like Hauser. I like that he's back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love in Teth that we see clones from all different battalions.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy from Mace Windu's group. I forget his.
Yeah, he's purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got killed.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah, cool
it's
stuff.
interesting that they're united under a common goal, that it's like, and also, yes, they all probably followed the order, but then it's like, wait a minute. This just isn't setting well with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that cause we got such a hard hitting, you can always wipe away the idea of that happening with Crosshair and the Batch, because it's like, oh, well, they're all altered. You know what I mean? They didn't really that didn't affect them. But it's interesting now seeing the normal guys out there wanting to fight the good fight and be like the Batch.
Yeah.
Rather than, everybody being like Crosshair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I love seeing it.
Yeah.
So on with that, on that same note, Crosshair. So talking about Crosshair a little bit.
Yeah.
He continues to be the best part of the show.
He's the best character.
Yeah, by
It's
far.
not even it's not even close.
Well, I think Omega's pretty good too.
Yeah.
But-
Well, yes. But I mean, the best member of the Batch, I guess.
Yeah.
And how about that?
And how about his guilt this episode and seeing a little bit more of those consequences
Everybody's-
and him dealing with it?
Everybody's being so mean to him,
Yeah.
but I get it.
But he
He's-
deserves it.
He's tough. He can
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
Those dynamics continue to be fantastic.
It's them triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's fighting back a little bit, but he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I was with the Empire for a little bit.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And I was a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and it's interesting too that he doesn't come out outright and be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a good
just-
point. Yeah. He doesn't do that.
No. What are your thoughts on Omega with a toothpick?
I loved that.
Is she gonna have a bandana in the next episode?
bandana? No.
Yeah,
she-
like Hunter.
Well-
it feels like I'm with my cool cousin right now.
Well,
Like-
it feels like, you remember season 1 when they were all in the prison? All of
Yeah.
them, the whole batch before they
Yeah.
got separated.
Mhm.
And Omega was copying Hunter.
Yeah.
She was mimicking every movement. She does this in every season. She mimics somebody.
Yeah.
Last season it was Tech quite a bit.
Yeah.
And now she's doing a lot with Crosshair. And she's
Yeah.
bonding with him.
Yeah.
Their relationship is great.
It
Because
is.
Hunter's more that like, he's the dad. He's got that more fatherly vibe.
Yeah.
Like the stern older
Well-
brother, if you want to go that route.
It's like Uncle Aaron and Miles and then Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There you go.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
That's a
is
great way to
that-
put it.
Yeah, Crosshair's Uncle Aaron. Not really a good guy, but he's pretty cool.
I don't know. I think he's a good guy by this point.
What's he good at? Man's a killer. That's
He's not
what I'm
real
getting
good
at.
at it right now.
No, not really. Although, if he just makes all of his rounds explosive, then
Yeah, I noticed that too. He was
I-
like, screw it.
dude, that was awesome. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. Now all he has to do is just get close. He could. That's 53%,
Right.
But anyway, Toothpick Omega. I was here for it. I thought that was really fun.
I did too. I think that I like their relationship quite a bit.
Mhm.
I like how brotherly Crosshair was this episode.
Yes, like trying to keep her like stay close to me. And
Yeah, I
everything.
kept giving her a bunch of instructions. She's like, you're as bad as Hunter.
Yeah,
No, I'm worse. Oh,
Yeah.
that was such a good line. Like such a mean older brother. Like,
yeah.
he loves you, but he's giving
But-
you crap all
And
the
I think
time.
that's layers though too.
Yeah.
It's like you're just as bad as Hunter. Oh no, I'm a bad man. Like if it really came down to it, in which it was weird. He was kind of like trying to do the sacrifice play. I feel like towards the end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that weird? He has a lot to atone for.
I know
And
he
think
does,
and
but
he
do you
knows
think that he wants to die? That's what I'm afraid
I think
of.
that he will do anything for his brothers by this point.
Yeah, no, I think that too, but I'm just like, I'm afraid that it's like, no, I don't
I
want
don't
you
think Crosshair was ever bad. I think that he was,
he's trying to do what he thought was right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he thought in his mind, the batch abandoned him,
Yeah.
and
Well-
it took him a while to realize that no, they were doing what they felt was right. And I did what I felt was right. And now I have to come back.
Yeah.
There were a lot of grievances in between.
You're always the hero of your own story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much that.
But I think that by the end, yeah, he definitely is trying to, if he dies, he dies. you
Yeah.
know? And I think that that's very in line with his character. It makes him, continues to make him interesting.
Yeah.
He's willing to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But he's still got that attitude, and he's still got like you said, he can't find himself to actually apologize.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great bouncing off of these other clones because he's already settled his beef with Hunter
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
But him and Hauser, that was great stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of trust left to be gained back with Crosshair, and I think he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool, very
Yeah.
fascinating.
And I guess that would be a quick way to get some trust back where it's like, hey, I'm going to stick my neck out for the group rather than, run away with my tail between my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing that one of my few issues with this episode was when Crosshair is being like kind of goofy with Omega, like telling her keep close and stuff. And you have that shot of Hauser like looking to, I forget what the clone he looks at, but they like kind of have a look.
Yeah.
It's funny in that moment. I'm like, oh, that's a fun moment. Like they're just like, oh, these guys, what in the world? Like,
Yeah.
But then later, Hauser's like, oh, I saw you with Omega. All's good now. All's forgiven. I'm like, really? Like, is that easy? Like
yeah.
that it cheapened the moment before with Crosshair and Omega, in my opinion, because that felt like such a genuine moment. But then when we get to that point, it's like, oh, you can see the writer's pen on their paper at that point where it's like,
All right. Now they have to.
they wrote that so that Hauser now trusts him, not because, and I get it, it's pulling double duty and that's fine, but I don't like it when I can see the reasons behind certain actions. I want them to feel organic, like this is just how the characters are.
Yeah.
And I was like, Hauser is really upset, as he should be. A lot of his men died, and you're telling me you just see Crosshair being a little
cool,
brotherly with Omega, and now
cool uncle.
now you guys are good.
Yeah.
A little
But-
forced.
Was that before or after he
The sacrifice thing was before.
Okay, gotcha. Before
Yeah.
he decided to go fight Clone X by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, should we continue on with the episode?
no, we should just leave. I think
Okay.
I'm done. That's all I had to
No,
say.
I meant like you were working your way through the.
no,
yeah,
I'm just
through the
kidding. I was just
episode.
giving you an opportunity to see what you guys
okay.
say.
I mean, I mean, we can move on to the. I mean, do you just want to keep working through the episode that Clone X or what are they called? I don't remember.
They call them the Shadows, but they don't really have names. I think they're called CX units from.
No,
the
but I
previous
thought
season.
that they had they were called Clone something or whatever. I thought they were called something in the former episodes where they captured one and.
Again, I think they were called CX units, Clone X.
No, you guys were calling them something where they were like clone.
Oh, the True Believers.
True Believers.
That's
yes.
what Matt from Star Wars Time Show kind of coined that.
Go. Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah, like a true believer tries to kill those senators, but Rex and his boys, they stop that.
Yeah.
And then they take him back to home base, which Teth, is that what you think it is?
It's Teth. Yeah,
It is
I'm
Teth.
almost certainly Teth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So takes him back to Teth. And then Echo, along with Echo decides to go get Gregor, and then the batch lands.
Mhm.
And then now everybody's all hanging out.
Yep.
But Clone X decides that he gets sent out there.
Yeah, the next one.
Yes. 'Cause
Another
this is-
one.
Yes, another one. Well, this is like the one, the way this one acts, I feel like. He came up in his baby Star Destroyer.
That thing was sick.
His little
That
triangle
was so
ship.
cool.
It's interesting. It reminded me of Padme's ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Say, I thought Star Destroyer as well. I thought it
Yes.
was super cool.
Yes. How, he decides to go there and apparently he can control his whole ship on his shoulder. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes. And he breaks in and he literally like Winter Soldier is better than Winter Soldier. And, breaks in and makes problems for everybody.
Well, let's go deep on this.
Yeah,
then,
that's
since
the
we're
whole
talking
thing.
about him.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I gotta
let's
hear
talk
your.
about
I
this.
gotta hear your thoughts on this. Who is this guy?
Well, first off, this is my like qualm. I kind of hated this. You talk about, or you've brought this up with like writing tropes that you don't like. This just feels so much that like, why is this guy so overpowered? Because it's like, why is he not doing everything for them then? That it's like, why are you bringing this guy out of ice? That like as I said, he's Winter Soldiering better than even like Bucky did in his movie. Like,
well, he's not infallible. I mean, Crosshair shoots him off the thing pretty easily.
with a bomb.
Yeah,
And then like he basically kills Crosshair.
he doesn't though.
I mean,
Crosshair
it's pretty dang close. And
Yeah.
then like, yeah, but
then he doesn't hear the guy coming after him.
no, because I mean, like, again, he's in a raging waterfall and all that.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
everything.
He's not perfect.
He's not, but I mean, he's still like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
So
he's-
anyway,
yeah.
I just don't, when your guy like seems that powerful, it just seems like, well, why do we even need anybody else that we could just send him in to go do everything? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get
Yeah,
you.
and then also if he somehow or she, I guess, the clone X, we'll just say X, that if they become a good guy, I just feel like that also like its stats are going to drop drastically because that's what always happens. Like when you beat a character in a video game, it's like, I think I'll tag along for a while. That somehow they're not nearly as good as during the boss battle. Like I hate that. So anyway, he just seemed, or X just seemed very, very powerful. Like was doing a lot of work.
Well, we know it's a dude. We know it's a clone. We hear the
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
modulated.
And you can hear it underneath it, and it's definitely just D. Bradley Baker,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
But
who is this guy?
I don't know. That's the whole thing is like, I want it. I still am in the camp. I don't want it to be
I was gonna say,
tech.
I tell you who it's not. It's not tech. I about
The internet seems to think it's
dude.
tech.
I know.
And they're all like,
it's,
do you hear the hint of British accent when he
Here's-
speaks? You're fine.
I'll lay it down.
No, you're fine. I hope it's Cody.
That's where. So I had this written down. It's like it's
Yeah.
not tech. It's maybe Cody. It's probably no one.
Yeah.
And here's my whole bit on this guy because they go out of their way at one point when talking about Crosshair.
Yeah.
He was like, I know all about this because
Yeah,
they were
they
trying
tried
to make me one.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't it work? Because he's defective. Who else is defective? Tech.
Yeah.
So they're already laying some groundwork. Like it can't
There's
be
no
him.
way.
Also, how we just had 3 seasons of Crosshair being the turncoat
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to go even deeper on that to where it's like, oh no, now we just wiped their identity and put a new face in there. Why not just do it again with Crosshair while you have him in custody narratively? I'm thinking like as the writer here.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make any sense narratively why it would be Tech.
Yeah.
What let's pretend it is for a minute.
Yeah.
What does it accomplish narratively if it's Tech?
Just-
Other than to give you a moment of no, it's Tech. I mean,
Yeah.
and it cheapens his death.
Yeah.
What does it do?
Just hurts the batch even more, but it's dumb.
But also, Tech wasn't the best fighter among them. That's the other thing.
No, but so did you see the infrared? On
Yes, I've
Crosshair?
heard that where
Yeah.
it's like he doesn't have any
His legs.
his legs
there's
don't have
no heat in
infrared.
his legs. Yeah, and it also looks like his legs are bandaged up.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, then why does he limp a bunch
Yeah,
towards the latter half of the episode? Of his legs aren't
or like
mechanical.
robotic or whatever. Yeah, that's the whole. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just.
I don't think it's Tech.
I hope not either. I don't want it to.
I
be.
think that there is a small possibility only because that just seems like a thing to do.
Yeah,
Right. But
it's very comic booky.
but
It's very 80s cartoon.
here's what I actually think is happening. I'll play the Cody angle for a minute because I do think that is possible.
I think that's cool. I don't like so I don't like it because like I don't want that for Cody, but at the same time I do like it because I want some of the clone commanders to be that like he volunteered for it or whatever, or maybe he got taken away.
to say I don't think he volunteered.
Well,
All these
maybe they
guys
took
have
him
just
away.
been wiped.
Yes.
Because Crosshair says their identities have been wiped
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, but like Wolverine volunteered for the process and then
Yeah, I suppose.
his identity wiped.
Well, but the last we see of Cody, he's ready to
yeah,
peace out. There's
he
no
wants
way
to
he'd
leave.
volunteer
Yes.
willingly for that, I don't
Yeah.
think. But the one thing that gets me tripped up on all this, because I'll tell you what my main theory is in a moment, but the one thing that puts a small little monkey wrench in here is this character's introduction. Why have I been activated?
Yeah.
That's a weird line
Yeah.
when you really think about it. Because if there's a bunch of these guys, if there's a whole like battalion of them or
Yeah, that's
squadron
what I'm
of
trying
them,
to tell you. This guy's special.
yeah, this
Yeah.
guy has got some sort of secret sauce.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting to me. Like why does he question that? He has a little bit of an identity still because you don't question orders if you have no identity.
Yeah.
That's a little weird to me. The other thing that's strange about this clone force in general, why were they sent after those two senators? Because we know that Hemlock commands them.
Yeah.
What does Hemlock have to do with these two senators to send
That is interesting.
one of these true believer clones after them?
Why would he care?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only angle I can see is Chuchi had the deal with the clones, and maybe if she's out of
Loose
the picture,
end. Yeah.
so maybe. But a piece of evidence toward Cody is the vibroblade, I think, because Cody uses a vibroblade in season 2. Of
Oh,
Bad Batch.
I don't remember that.
I think so. Anyway, unless I'm misremembering.
I don't remember.
I've heard some other people mention that too.
Okay.
So here's my main thought about this guy.
Okay.
I think that this guy is a super Skrull.
Okay.
Let that simmer for a minute.
No, you're fine because, well, this character does some fantastical things in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll expand a little bit. So the idea behind the Super Skrull, right, is like they get all the DNA from all the Avengers, right, and they can kind
the
of.
Fantastic Four, but yes.
I'm thinking about Secret Invasion.
I'm
but
trying to
yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to, I'm trying to help you broaden your.
Yeah, the comic book.
Yes,
my
he's
comic
a
book
Fantastic Four villain.
I know.
Yes.
I just was
Yes.
giving crap toward Secret Invasion, the
Yes.
show, because I don't like that show.
Given all the abilities of the Fantastic Four. Or,
Yes.
but there's a Super Scroll for the X-Men and the Avengers that, like, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
they get all their abilities, right?
Yeah.
They can shapeshift and do all these other
Yeah.
things, right? My thought with these guys is that they have been given all of the abilities of the Bad Batch.
Okay.
And because they've been siphoning their defects and trying to implant them and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Bad Batch have some super human abilities. We know that it works. It's compatible with Django's DNA, clearly. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the Bad Batch wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And here's some evidence to it.
I got one if you don't say it.
Go ahead.
So, well, him moving those rocks like Wrecker.
Yes, he's
And
very strong.
They even went out of their way to show Wrecker move that huge stuff to have them go down. Like, so it's like, oh, you're reminding us that like Wrecker is super strong.
Yep.
Because I'll be honest, he doesn't have a lot to do.
Yeah,
in
he
this
doesn't have much
episode.
to do this. And neither
Yeah.
does Hunter, though.
No,
frankly.
Hunter hardly said anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
So, yeah.
sorry, continue.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you get the strength.
Yes.
The very obvious one is
Dude can shoot.
And they go out of their way again. Here, he shoots the exhaust, right?
Yeah.
Pinpoint accuracy, hits it on their escape ship.
Yep.
And it crashes in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Crosshair tries the exact same thing a couple scenes later.
Yeah.
But he misses his first several shots.
Yeah.
And then he hits it.
Well, he's shooting 53%.
I know, but
Yeah.
the point is like they went out of their way to show you both of these characters sniping the exact same thing, but one of them doesn't have whatever issue Crosshair is dealing with right now.
Yeah.
So he's like Crosshair at his prime.
Yeah.
So we got that going for it.
Yeah. He's tracking them like Hunter would.
He's
probably.
tracking them like Hunter would.
Yeah.
And he's using the vibro blade.
Yeah.
Right. So my thought is that these guys are all likely the same. Well, like I said, the little thing that throws a wrench into this idea is that he opens up his introduction with "Why have I been activated?"
Yeah.
But that could just be they're all kind of on ice
Yeah.
and now he's like
Bucky.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and they also go out of their way again to show you that other guy first.
Yes.
And this is, you guys know this by now. This is how I analyze these things. I try to analyze them from like, okay, if I'm the writer.
Yeah.
Why am I doing certain things? Why show this other guy without his mask, that he's just a regular clone, if this other guy is going to be an important clone?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a red herring. That could be it.
Yeah.
If I'm the writer, that could be a way to kind of make you like throw you off the scent. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Star Wars loves that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Who's Marok?
But right. But the big thing for
Yeah.
me is that narratively, this character is just a mirror to Crosshair.
Yeah.
I think that that's the purpose he serves in the story. He serves as an antagonistic force for the Batch and the clones, obviously, but
Is he the Crosshair that didn't turn?
exactly.
Yeah.
He's the dark mirror to Crosshair. This
Yeah.
is
Shadow Link, if you will.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is what happened. This is what would have happened, Crosshair.
Yeah.
You were this close
Yeah.
to becoming that.
Yeah.
And there's even a little bit more of an on the nose moment when he's drowning him.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at his reflection.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, the primary thing that this guy does is snipe most of the time. He's got the same backpack that Crosshair has
Yep.
with the same sniper rifle, pretty much. Exactly.
Mhm.
And so I think that narratively, this guy just serves as a reminder of, hey, this could have been you. This is what you need to prevent. This is what you're saving your brothers from. You made it out,
Yeah.
but you're not out of it yet.
Yeah.
And so
So maybe the identity isn't the important thing.
Exactly.
That's what you're getting at.
I
It's
think
just
he's just a guy.
he's a vehicle.
And I think he's literally a mirror.
Okay.
Like anybody could be there, and it's Crosshair. That's or a little bit more whack.
What if
could-
it is Crosshair?
It could literally be a clone of Crosshair.
Dude, how insane would that be? I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of wild. Again, like a Shadow Link.
Yeah.
Or,
I think I don't know
evil
how
Scott
they
Pilgrim.
play that. I think what could be interesting is that they could play the whole like, no, I'm the real Crosshair. I'm the real Crosshair.
Oh, at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then maybe they even start getting the audience in on that, like
Which one?
because this guy can shoot
Yeah.
perfectly, but our Crosshair is shooting 53%.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe there's something to that. I kind of doubt that's where they're
Yeah.
going, but it's a fun thing to think about.
It's a different, it's a whole new layer to it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I did like to, this still has to kind of do with Crosshair and Clone X, is that Wrecker, his one moment was nice that he was like making sure that Crosshair didn't leave. Like doesn't he say some liner like that he's like, oh no, we're all going together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that that's still his initiative, man, that he's like,
It's got to keep the batch
yeah, his
together.
prerogative. Yeah. It's like, no, we're family now and we're staying together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
What'd you think about Omega's gun or blaster?
Looks a lot like a certain bounty hunter's gun.
It does. It looks an awful lot like a modified Blast Tech EE3 rifle, in which, you know, a certain other clone famously uses that weapon. Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did
think
notice it's smaller though.
it is. Well, here's the other thing. It doesn't have the stock on it, which again, sometimes Boba Fett's does and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on who's drawing it. In the film, the like right before Luke cuts it in half is that it does have a stock on it. So, but I think now more than ever, like he's coming.
Dude, he
Like,
is 100%.
There
he's
is
coming.
no, yeah, there's just like, I would be really surprised. Like, this is like, I'm even more confident than I was about Asajj being in this episode. that,
No, I think
just
that's a,
I mean, why? Why would you design it to look like that?
and we know
I mean,
the
we knew there's already crossbows in Star Wars.
Mhm.
So why doesn't it look like Chewie's
and
crossbow?
maybe she gifts it to Boba Fett.
Maybe. Oh, and then he modifies it back to a blaster or something.
could be.
I don't know.
Could be interesting.
Mhm.
I think that, I think it's almost a guarantee he's going to be in this.
Yeah.
I mean, they've laid all the groundwork. Daniel Logan's in, he's already a member of the cast.
Yeah.
We know the bounty hunters are going to be in it.
Yes.
We know Asajj Ventress is going to be in it, which she has a connection to Boba Fett in the Clone Wars. And as we just read in Dark Disciple, she teams up with him a couple more times.
Yeah.
There's a connection there.
Be interesting because we know Fennec Shand and Cad Bane, like, wait, they didn't team up though. They were against each other, weren't they? Okay, never mind then. I was like, what if it's Fennec Shand and Cad Bane and then Boba Fett and Asajj Ventress?
I could see that, like the group, like Boba, because it's Boba, Bosk, Embo, Heisinger, and there's one more guy there. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but it's like a little gang, and they work with Asajj Ventress on occasion.
Yeah,
I could see it, and we know that clearly they're doing some stuff with Dark Disciple.
Yeah,
hopefully not too much, but I think 100% Boba's coming.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I did like the fact, like, dude, when the thermal detonators are getting heated up by the flamethrower.
That's sick. That's a good moment.
I was just like, man, what fun. Well, it's just like, you wouldn't see that in a live action movie. That's why I like the, what do you want? I'm sorry. I can't think of what do I want to say? I like the form of animation because it gives us stuff like this. Cause I just don't think that would happen in live action.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, it's cool. I liked it. That was a good moment.
Yes.
These episodes were also really pretty, I thought.
Yes, the flashlights as they were walking around and stuff. There's just, dude, the darks are dark and the lights are light. It's good stuff.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's very good. So as we kind of get to toward the end of the episodes, so we run into our man Wolf. A little bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
he's our stinger at the end of episode 6, and he's the one leading the extraction team.
Yes,
on Teth to get Omega, because as Clone X gets there, he's about to kill his target, and then is like, oh shoot, Omega's here too.
Yeah.
Yo, we got to do something about that.
Yeah.
And then, that's
the Rent-A-Cops come, if you will, basically.
Yeah. You think so?
I mean, kind of. I feel like that everyone was like not giving him the time of day.
Well, what I found interesting was that Wolf doesn't work for Hemlock, clearly.
No, and that's what I also think that's weird, because he's hanging out with Hemlock's boys.
Well, but I think that makes sense with Palpatine's. You will have any resources.
Oh, any resources.
The full might of the Empire is at your disposal. He's like, all right, I'm taking this clone commander, bringing him in. But a little bit of a miscalculation from Hemlock, because Wolf and Rex recognize each other.
They're boys.
Good, really good moment, because I was not expecting Wolf to just be like, oh, I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
Like, he's very shocked that Rex is still alive.
We thought you died on is it a Vindicator? Is that what it is? Venator. Sorry. The Venator class Star Destroyer. And it's like, well, it's probably what they said. They didn't find his helmet.
Well, that's what Rex wanted people to believe.
Yeah. It's just that he's dead.
I like that little reference to the best animation, although it's maybe on its way out.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but a good series finale. How about that? Yeah.
Excellent, from Clone Wars Season 7, when the Venator crashes with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Rex. Very good. But yeah, that interaction with Wolf and Rex. Wolf fascinated me because he wasn't like a Cody where he was like really torn, but he also wasn't like a Crosshair in the beginning where he was like, no, I'm just like, good soldiers follow orders. He was just very practical.
I felt like that.
I'm a soldier.
He just reminded me of just like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, would someone just sit me down and explain what exactly is happening right now? Like, he just seemed like a seeker of truth more than anything, rather than like, I need to kind of know what exactly is going on before I make any kind of real decisions. Cause this is ridiculous. Like, he's back from the dead. And, and that shot too, where like he tells them all to put their guns down and they're all just standing there, and then they all like that shot of all of them pointing guns is like, it's good. That's pretty sick.
So there was some really good cinematography. I will say I don't know that I have an issue with it, but it was weird that all the clones and the commandos are like, oh, we're just letting them go. All right. Like it is weird
that like My wife said that, and I was like, well, who's that going to fall back on? It'll fall back on their commander. So
Yeah.
he's going to have to come up with something.
Yeah, but we've
So,
seen in the past couple seasons, like,
And there was stormtroopers with them too.
yeah.
Because the one guy that went and found
Yeah,
they
there were a
found them-
few. That's right.
yes,
There were a few
There were
TKs.
stormtroopers, yes.
But I was thinking back to, was it season 1? Yeah, season 1 with Hauser.
Mm-hmm.
He's the captain of his force,
Yeah.
Captain Hauser, Commander Hauser, Captain Hauser. And he tells all of his clones, like, yeah, we're turning our back on these guys. And only some of them join him.
Yeah.
And so in this moment, I'm like, why aren't some of the clones like good soldiers follow orders? You guys ain't leaving.
Yeah. Granted, they've been through a bit more now.
Yeah, I know, I get
Yeah,
it. But it was very quick. Nobody questioned it.
Yeah.
I guess that one guy was like, we letting them go? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, well,
Yeah, exactly.
when's lunch?
I was going to say it's your butt.
So, which that leads us
Yeah.
into like where this is headed. I mean, the clone uprising is coming.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The assault on Tantus is
That's
coming.
I was going to say that's a piece of my triangle that I hope happens where we can have 3 battles all happening at once.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they've built up to it nicely. Like this is kind of where everybody thought this story was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that they didn't try to subvert that. Like, no, this is where it's headed.
Yeah.
You're going to cry along the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so clearly Wolf has to get back with the gang at some point, but I think that
does.
his purpose is going to be, he's going to start to think about what Rex said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's ultimately going to be the missing piece of the puzzle and giving Rex and Co the coordinates to Tantus.
Yeah.
I think that will be his final moment of like, that's when he's turning and getting out of there.
See, and I could see him being a bad guy up until during the uprising that he turns to their side
could
during
see
the
that.
middle of the fight.
Sure.
Yeah,
I could see that too.
Yes.
Like right up to the last moment.
Yeah. And it's
That'd be a
just-
good moment too.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's how he ends up with them is like, he's one of the few that does survive all of this.
I imagine we
So-
are going to see a moment like that during the clone uprising on Tantus where there's a big battle, but somebody gets up and gives a Captain America speech
Yeah.
and you have a lot of the clones that are going to put their weapons down.
Yeah.
Who do you think that person's going to be?
Who to give the speech?
Yeah.
You don't think it's Rex?
I would think yes, but also it's not his show. So I'm thinking maybe Omega.
Dude, but she's fighting Palpatine, I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
she's the one
I
that-
am the bad batch.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I honestly think that she's dealing with that. That's the whole thing. Is she's
No.
dealing with like, again, you got to have your,
It may be, but
gotta
I
have
mean,
your
I don't
three
think
battles go
Palpatine's
on.
going to be there.
I don't know, in some way, I think he's going to be.
I mean, Omega's not. I don't know.
I don't want her to actually fight him.
I know,
you
but-
know that, right? But I think that she has to face him. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Or maybe it's Hemlock with Palpatine on a screen. And then, yeah.
yeah, I
then
could
the
see with
Batch are
Hemlock.
doing their own thing, and then the clones are doing something else. So
I could
it's
see
like-
that where because that's what the Bad Batch is good at. Like
Yeah.
they're good at that. Yeah, maybe it is Rex. Maybe it is Rex who gives that
Yeah.
speech, and you have the Bad Batch who are doing like more of an infiltration.
Exactly. That's
Got to
the
cut
only
the head
yeah.
off the snake.
Yes, exactly. Rex is Lando. The Batch is Han. Omega's Luke. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi Triangle, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, sure, then
Yeah.
fine. Rex is Jar Jar.
Okay.
Bad Batch is the Batch is Padme. Then
You're killing me right
then
now.
Omega is Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. What?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I just
triangles,
can't.
man.
I just can't get past Jar Jar and Rex.
Sure. What? It's like again. They just
You're
yeah
just picturing that, like him getting up there, and like
yeah.
stop, and then he takes off the helmet, and it's just Jar Jar.
You used to say clones are gonna die.
We still got to team up.
Exactly. Misa, Yusa.
That's so ridiculous.
And Rex, Misa.
So did you find it interesting that Wolf has his OG armor?
Why? I mean, I just fear.
Because everybody else had to lose their kind of identity.
Well, Cody was just a different color.
Yeah, but he had to lose his. Yeah, he had to lose his color. I guess it helped. Like Rolf was already gray.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that points to another interesting thing about him not being under Hemlock, because Hemlock would have been like
Yeah, no.
uniform.
Yes, exactly. Because that was the whole thing. Is like because it's a pretty quick shot you get of him at the end of the first episode.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, wait, was that Wolf? And I was like, oh no, you could see the teeth on the mouth. Like that. I was like, maybe this is some other guy with teeth. And I'm like, no, it's got to be him.
He's
because that
the
just
only
makes
guy
sense.
with that helmet.
Yeah.
He's got like a very specific type helmet.
Mhm. He looks almost like what are the Utapau troopers? Like those guys.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I've always, I doubt we'll get this in this story, but there's I don't know if it's a comic, a fan comic or what, but of Wolf finishing off Plo Koon. You ever seen that?
No. Plo's Bros.
Yeah, where he like,
Did you know that's what they're called?
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's great. The
It
Wolf
is.
Pack.
It is Plo's Bro.
So Wolf finds his crash ship, his
Mhm.
interceptor, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
still alive.
Yeah.
And he just in cold blood finishes them off.
It's rough.
Yeah, but he like later laments that.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, but we all know, obviously, we got to get the trio there for Rebels.
Yeah.
So it's one of the, again, it's not a fault of the show, but
It stinks we know that.
I wish that things happen in chronological order.
I agree.
And then the last thing,
We know where we're heading.
yeah,
Yeah.
the batch's soldiers are soldiers again.
Yeah.
They're done running. And why are they done running? Because we have a goal.
Exactly. We gotta figure out what's going on with Omega.
Exactly.
Because M count was dropped again. And it ticked me off that Rex just was like, I've heard of those.
Why? Why did that tick you off?
No, but I'm just like, guys, just talk about it. Like, don't even like, I've heard of those.
Well, why would they know about it?
But he's heard of them. Well, what have you heard, Rex? Like, no one like follows along with that. And
Well,
it's just
he
like,
says he doesn't have enough information to share. He doesn't want to confuse the group.
yeah, still.
He doesn't want to drop information and then it not be correct.
Yeah, it just is like, come on, we know. You just gotta say it. I get it. It makes me want to keep coming back, but I'm just still just like, come on, dude. I
think-
can't plug in a data pad and figure out what an M count is.
I think it's interesting that Omega doesn't know a lot either.
No, I think everyone was left in the dark. I mean, that's what's neat is that like it's similar to Grogu because like Grogu's a baby,
Mhm.
and then like she just like there's something very special about her too, but like no one acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Probably, when she was growing up. So
Yeah, it's very interesting. I still am in the camp that she's not force sensitive.
no, I don't think she is. I've said it before. I think that she just has like transferable blood that you could take Palpatine's blood.
You can take midichlorians, but it doesn't mean she has a bunch.
No, exactly. That's the whole thing. Is that like she is she's a perfect palette. So you could put an M count mix and then clone from her, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well then you've got a perfect body to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I think it is. Is that how you see in your favorite Star Wars movie, Palpatine's body before the dyad, his body's all destroyed and everything like that. His spirit is wrecking that body.
Yeah.
She's the genetic pattern basically to be like, oh, well, no, it's like a perfect cloning process.
Right, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see why.
Yeah. Mhm.
But hey, I mean, these 2 episodes, it was nice to be back. It felt like we were
Yes.
back in Clone Wars again for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Mhm.
Uh,
You got
it
the
just-
board?
we're going to do that right now?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
All right, where are we tier listing episode 6 first?
yes, I think personally, I would put them. Let me see. Where did we?
It's hard not to do them as a package deal.
Yeah, I know. I think that we just put them like 5, 6. I think they're probably the top of B.
Really? I'd definitely go A with these. I think
Okay,
they're
you think
fantastic.
are they better than 1?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, then put
I'd
them.
probably put them better than 3 too, to be honest
It's
with
not
you.
better than 3.
I'll compromise with you here.
Fine, then put 5 and 6. They're a package deal,
6 and 7.
or 6 and 7. Sorry.
All right, 6 and 7 right here.
Yep, there we go.
No, it's good.
It's good.
I think that.
I'm happy we have a direction.
Yeah. I think that 3 was, I mean, they've all been good, dude.
They
They've
have.
all
That's
been
what's
good.
crazy. Is like it's kind of hard. Like it's gonna be interesting once we get more on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like as we go, because we're just about to the halfway
Apparently,
point.
I'm forgetting left and right. Yeah,
Oh, it's all good.
there's a lot of Star Wars. I read a whole book.
Yeah, right. We read a whole book in the past week.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I definitely procrastinated that, and never again. So, gosh. Anyway.
So, great stuff. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yes.
And I also can't wait to see what you guys said in the fan questions.
Clear your mind of questions.
All right, fan question time.
Yoo-hoo.
As a reminder, every week, post a prompt on Instagram at Beyond the Dune Sea on our stories, asking you guys basically to ask us anything, but usually pointed toward the Bad Batch episode of the week. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Michael_Kramer98 says, when do you think Wolf will join the rebellion? And Padawan _Pops kind of asks the same question. When do we see Wolf turn?
At the very end.
You're,
I think it's during
I think
the
that's
rebellion. I think that'd
be fun.
I think the Empire, if you think that he's with the Empire, basically like he's in charge of the grunts or whatever, like not Hemlock's crew, he probably brings in, he's the commander of all the people that are brought into Tantus.
Okay.
And
That's
then
a thought.
he turncoats.
I'm into that.
Yeah. That's what I'm seeing in my head as a writer.
If not that, I think that he's maybe the missing link to give the information over to the boys.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff from the trailer could also be that too. Like that's why they steal that thing.
Yeah. From the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like your deal too.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Old Greg Foskett. Two questions. First, where's Asajj Ventress? Yeah, Seth. Where's Asajj Ventress?
I mean, again, this just proves I can make a mistake. I'm valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my guess is the Harbinger.
Yeah.
I think that. And I thought about this more. I don't know why we didn't mention it on our Tales from the Archive stream, but I think that her episodes will likely follow loosely some events from the book in the sense that they've already reused a lot of animation from those canceled Clone Wars arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about it before, but Cad Bane and Hunter, their duel, pretty much shot for shot, that Boba Fett versus Cad Bane duel.
Yeah.
There's some stuff from Kashyyyk that was from a canceled arc from Clone Wars that they reused stuff. So narratively, it's not going to be similar, but I think we will see sequences. So
that are very similar.
So I could see a chase. I could see the chase on Pantora.
Yeah.
That we see in from that arc.
You think they're going to fight Count Dooku?
Yeah, where Count Dooku's doing the Sound of Music
Yes,
thing. You've never seen that.
Everybody.
It's wild. He's like
ridiculous.
It's this previs animation, and Count Dooku, like all the bounty hunters, so Boba Fett, Bosk, Heisinger, and Imbo are all trying to wrangle Count Dooku, and he like just starts spitting them in a circle. But because it's previs animation, it's very static, and he just looks like he's doing a ballet. It's really funny.
It's weird.
Old Greg Foskett also said, your favorite member of the Bad Batch, along with your personal favorite moment of theirs.
Oh, Crosshair.
It's moved. It was Hunter.
I do like Hunter a lot too. It's because Hunter's just not done anything for a very long time.
That's true. He's not had a lot of development.
It's frustrating. Yes. And well, he didn't like get to do a whole lot last season either. He did some, but he was just
stuff.
He's strong, and that's it. He's Leonardo. That's it. He's unwavering. He does his thing. So I'm trying to think. That's tough. You can go first.
Mine's Crosshair.
Yeah.
Favorite member of the batch. Favorite moment from them. Gosh, that's tough because he has so many.
I still love him throwing the penny or whatever, the nickel, and then bouncing that blast off the mirrors. Like that's slick. Like,
Yeah.
that is really, really cool.
I think that I could I'm just going to pick one from each season. I know that's a cop out. The end of season 1, his conversation with Hunter, and then when he ultimately joins the batch to fight off the Dark Troopers the Dark Troopers.
Phase ones. Yeah.
In the training room.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment because he's kind of right in a lot of ways. Season 2, Outpost with him with Mayday. Especially the moment at the end where he finally kills Nolan. This season, everything from episode 5, like when they return to the Outpost where he finally has to come to terms, probably him setting up the helmets.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's good stuff.
That's probably mine.
I really like him throwing the mirror up and shooting. Like, that's all awesome. I like the stuff on the ice planet is really good. Hunter, I mean, anytime, like from this season with the whole him just hugging Omega, like, that's good stuff that he never stopped looking.
Mm-hmm.
I did like too when Hemlock took Omega, that it was like kind of you remember when he like had the gun drawn on her and everything, and it was just like, no, we got to take her. And it's like, I'll be seeing you. Like, I liked how kind of all that went down and everything too. Yeah. I don't know. It would be tough to pick. Good stuff.
It's a lot of good stuff.
Yes. I mean, broken record. It's all over the floor. That it's just like, I think this is some of our favorite Star Wars, and people are missing out.
100%.
Yes.
Completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
3, Nico says, do you think the assassin in episode 7 is a clone of Crosshair? They use the same rifle and islands. I brought that up. I think it's a loose maybe. I I think my order of operation goes probably nobody. He's just a dark mirror to Crosshair. Cody, clone of Crosshair. Anybody else?
Tech. Yeah. Yes.
You
What
wouldn't
you
switch
just said.
that up? Like, so you're not more in the Cody camp?
I mean, I'd like it to be Cody just because I like the idea. But I mean, what's that do narratively?
Yeah.
It doesn't really, nothing. But I feel like then he's got to have some sort of, he has to have a part to play during all of this.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Maybe.
In some way, he can't
I
just
still
not show up to the end.
Well, my opinion, like I said, I think that why he kind of exits stage right in season 2 is because he was supposed to be in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
And now that he's not, and it's like, I don't know that they reworked him back into the story.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like with Cody
Everything.
being this guy,
Yeah.
there's no payoff to that. I think that it comes, Star Wars fans, we're guilty of it too. We all have a problem that everybody has to be somebody
Yeah.
all the time. And it's like, we don't need that.
No, I
you know
agree.
what I mean? It's like,
I agree. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll finally get Clone Commander Bakara. Maybe it'll happen.
there you go.
Probably not, but maybe. Who knows? That'd be cool.
Sir_Django_Fett. Why was I activated? Clone X. He also calls him Clone X.
No, that's what they are.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
CX units.
Yeah.
Could he be Boba? Nah.
No.
As we established on Tales from the Archives, Boba's like 15
Yeah.
at this point.
No way.
No way.
Yeah.
BLOORE on Mandalore. Do you think Crosshair and the Shadow Trooper have a bit too much in common? Yes. Yes, I do. So I don't know, Jeremy, if you're playing the Crosshair clone angle, like Nico.
Evil Scott Pilgrim.
But if you're playing the angle I'm playing, like Dark Mirror, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with this. Star Wars Sith 66. Who do you think the Winter Soldier clone trooper is at the end of episode 7?
Yeah. That seems to be the...
It's not Tech. Didn't expect a second one, did you? It was another cracked one. Don't worry. They're 45 cents at Goodwill.
It's just a guy.
Broken records.
Yeah.
I have to buy a stack of those.
Yeah,
That's just a
exactly.
repeating
Just
joke.
throw 'em, yeah.
So like, pull.
Yeah,
That's what-
exactly. Yeah.
Ask it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I was just tuning into Dark Side Secrets.
Mhm.
Tony, Star Wars Sith, DiamondFigs, the show. Mortis was on there too. And Grayson from Mortis. And they are still on about it's Tech. Well, at least DiamondFigs was. I was like, no way. It's not
Yeah.
Tech. It's not Tech.
The internet seems to think it's Tech as well.
I think Tech makes more sense than Cody narratively.
Yeah.
But I hate the payoff of that.
Yeah.
So, and the last question from Owen_Anderson_4. I like this question. You're always asking great questions, Owen. If you could ask George Lucas one question, what would it be and why? Because I'm on the spot, you want me to give you a second to think?
Yeah.
Because I'm on the spot, I'll give maybe two. I would be curious how much of the prequels were actually, like how much did you have that drafted out?
Yeah.
By the OT? Because we see some concept art and stuff floating around. I'd just be curious. Or kind of in a similar vein, the question I'd really like to know is like, be honest with me. How much of this story was planned in A New Hope?
Gotcha.
Because he kind of goes back and forth on that sometimes.
Gotcha. This is going to sound kind of crazy. I think I might pick his brain about, have you ever heard him talk about joy and pleasure? That conversation.
Oh, yes.
I think I would probably pick his brain about that, honestly.
Yeah. It's more like a thematic.
Over Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that that's really interesting and a really interesting way at looking at life. And I think that he's an untapped resource in that sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that I would be really curious to hear kind of more his thoughts on that. And then maybe I could get more of a conversation out of him through that. But But yeah, I know that's not. I'm sorry that's like not a Star Wars related
Yeah.
question. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. If you haven't seen that, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's basically the difference of like how pleasure is fleeting, also
Yes.
synonymous with like happiness. You know, happiness is fleeting,
Yeah,
joy is everlasting.
exactly.
And
It's really interesting.
yeah, it's a definitely good outlook.
Yeah.
My real answer is probably something to do with filmmaking. I would want to ask like, his philosophy toward filmmaking, like
Yeah.
why he told the stories the way that he told them.
Yeah.
Like, why did you choose this medium? Why did you choose to tell your story this way? Like, you could have told a story of father and son, not in space.
Yeah.
You know, at the time when that was very difficult, but he revolutionized the entire film industry by doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I'd be very fascinated on his motivation to tell the story in the way that he did. And, if he ever expected
Any kind of regret or anything
to
like
be,
that.
well, it to be the revolution that it was.
Yeah.
Not just in the fandom that is Star Wars, but also, I mean,
Filmmaking. Oh my
filmmaking.
gosh,
I
we
mean,
talked about
Photoshop was invented by a guy who works at ILM. You know,
Pixar is
Yeah.
from him.
tons of it.
Yeah.
Tons of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
The Volume. I mean,
yeah, it's great stuff that some people, I don't know if everybody knows about this, but George was trying to make a live action television show
Yes.
around the same time as Clone Wars. And you can go back and watch some of like the animatics and behind the scenes and some of the finished scenes from this. And what he was doing was kind of Volume-esque, but it was using green screen. So it was basically using technology like Unreal Engine, where you would be filming it all real, kind of like how Avatar is filmed. You know,
Yeah, and
James Cameron's kind of
And were
pioneered
they
this.
rendering it as it was going?
Yeah, it's rendering in real time.
Yeah.
And this was very revolutionary, but he was trying to do it on TV, which
Yeah.
at the time was like,
You can't do that. Yeah.
but we know from some of the writers, like this story was going to get interesting. Like Vader was going to be in it because he said that was one of the greatest privileges of his life. The writer, I forget his name, who wrote a lot of the episodes, said that he got to write for Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it was very cool. So yeah, the guy just was always
Mhm.
innovating, and he doesn't get enough credit for his innovations. It's somebody always credits someone else.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to me because I'm like, yeah, George didn't sit down there and type the code for non-linear editing software, but it was his ideas. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, just like you give Steve Jobs the credit for the Apple iPhone.
Yeah.
You know, he's also not the one who did it, but somebody had to have an idea, and had to be bold enough and be able to write a check big enough
To push this
to
along.
push the idea. And
Yeah.
also, the biggest thing from George that I find inspiring is his courage to not back down from the studios.
Yeah.
He wanted his story a certain way, and he got it.
Yeah.
I'd go on. I like that guy.
I do too.
As you might know.
I was going to say, whatever. We can just say it. It's like goal of the show. We'd love to meet him. I don't know how, some way, but that would be, I would.
I would
love
I just love to shake the man's hand.
Yeah.
That's
I would
all.
love to just say hi to him.
Not even for Star Wars necessarily. He's inspired me very much on a personal level, like with my journey through video making and filmmaking, and like how I do my photography and a lot of my philosophies on life. It's like a lot of it comes from him.
No, again, that's why I want to have a conversation with him, because I think that there's a lot more going on than we've gotten to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a lot more thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just all about space wizards.
And I also really, we actually do have one more question. It's actually related to this. It was not submitted via, I think it was too long, but I do want to read it because it is related. From League of Extraordinary Sixers says, do you think it was the correct decision to sell Star Wars to Disney? If not, what company would you choose to take over the franchise? And the reason that made me think of it is because one thing I really respect George for is the reason he sold was because he wanted to spend time with his family. He realized that doing the sequel trilogy meant another 10 years away from his family.
Yeah.
And I think around that time he got remarried. He had a granddaughter, I believe. And he just wanted to spend time with his family. And it's like, this guy created the biggest franchise, the biggest cinema franchise ever. Yeah. And he's like, nah, my family's more important.
Yeah.
Admirable. You know, I know the guy's not perfect, but it's like, that's something to admire from him.
Yeah. I think too that when he sold it, I think he had hoped that they would have just taken care of it. If that makes sense. Not just like all of a sudden like, pedal to the metal or pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
And just like, we're making our own stuff. Like, I think that he had hoped that like, okay, maybe we could do like a Star Wars land at Disney World, and then like, you know, have it be a celebration of Star Wars, and then maybe work up to a movie eventually or something.
Well, they
like
knew
that.
they were doing they were going to do a sequel trilogy. That was
part of it. Yes, I know, but I think that maybe way deep down,
he didn't.
I think that he thought he'd be
So-
more involved with it and everything. That like
This is one of my deepest issues with all of this, is that they really did George dirty on all of this. Like, they told George that he created treatments for the sequel trilogy,
Yeah, no,
and they just threw him out.
yeah, exactly.
And that's not speculation. That's in, like, Bob Iger wrote a book, and I believe he
about
said he regretted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just cast aside his ideas, and he was also meant to like be consulted on a lot of
and
things.
help along with it.
And it's like,
I think it's really neat too that, you know, he gets to come backstage for Mandalorian and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think
he's
that-
still involved.
to answer the question, like, do I think it was a good idea? What was the actual phrasing of the question?
It was. Do you think it was a good idea? And that
Yeah, correct decision. It's hard to say if it was the correct decision. There is a part of me that wishes Star Wars kind of would have just ended, because I think there is value in that. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about Bad Batch, there's a value in the story
Things being
ending.
finite. Yeah.
I really love this line from Chris Stuckman, a YouTube movie reviewer, when he's talking about Dial of Destiny. He liked the movie Indiana Jones, but he called it a cinematic zombie. So He's like, you know, the series ended with Last Crusade. Like, we don't need to keep doing this.
Yeah.
There is value in letting something end.
Yeah.
And so there is a part of me that's like, yeah, I could have been okay with it just ending.
Yeah.
Maybe bring Disney on to make some comic books, make some video games, keep writing books,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. On the other hand, I think that I think that Disney is probably the most equipped to do what they've
Yeah.
done, but so
We wouldn't have met each other though.
yeah, it's
So
like
that's
it's like-
something that's really interesting too to think about.
yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot. I'm grateful overall because first of all, yeah, friends I've made,
Yeah.
you, all of our friends from Tales from the Archives that we
Yeah.
talk to on a daily basis to this point.
Yeah.
And you know, I think they did find their footing eventually.
Yeah.
Mando's good. Bad Batch is really good. We
Yeah.
got Clone Wars season 7, which was mostly a George creation, but you know, we still got it.
Yeah.
And we got Ahsoka. We've got you know, even Andor. You know, we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just I think that the sting of the sequel trilogy is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's tough for me too.
Tough pill. Even though it's got one of your favorite Star Wars movies.
It
in
does.
Yeah.
Here's how I always word it when it comes to the sequel trilogy. If that trilogy of movies came out exactly as is, not a thing changed, but George Lucas made them, I would just be like, well, it's a story. Who
Yeah.
am I to say?
Yeah.
You know, who am I to say?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with the prequels. I hear people
Yeah.
mention it's like, it's his story. It's his world.
So I know, like, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. Have you ever, Cody Rhodes, he's a famous WWE wrestler. He says like his favorite movies are Star Wars. And, he famously said that they asked him what he thought about the prequels. And he goes, who am I to say that George Lucas, the guy who invented Star Wars,
Right.
made a bad movie?
Right.
So yeah, it's really, really interesting.
And that's not
Yeah.
to say there's things you can't like about it or
Yeah.
anything, but this conclusion that it ruined Star Wars or any of this, that
Yeah.
it bothers me because it's like, what do you mean? But
Yeah.
the reason I phrase it that way in terms of the sequel trilogy is because what hurts me the most about it is not necessarily the content. Don't get me wrong. There's content in it that I don't like.
Yeah.
It's just that we know they threw aside George's ideas.
Yeah. That he wasn't involved.
And they clearly, like The Force Awakens, as much as I like that movie, unfortunately, as time goes on, I like it less and less because it sets a lot of the mood.
Yeah.
It just undoes so much. And it's like just to get you back to that nostalgic status quo of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. And it's like, so I think that sting is hard for people.
I got you.
So there is a part of me that wishes it would have gone to someone else that would have treated the sequel trilogy with a little more respect, or at least made a plan for it,
Yeah.
you know? But as far as who could have done it, I mean, I don't know that there's a studio out there that would have.
20th Century Fox comes to mind because the fact that
But they're absorbed by Disney now.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But would they have been absorbed by Disney
if this happened?
Yeah,
That's true. Maybe
exactly.
not. Yeah, maybe it would have taken off.
Yeah, that comes to mind just because like they produced the movies originally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
No, I think that Disney was ultimately they could champion it, for lack of a better term. They had the resources. I mean, they already were part of the parks and everything.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty cool to see an AT-AT in Epcot. I will say that. Yeah. Or Hollywood Studios, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that ultimately I'm content where it's ended up. I can't change it.
Yeah.
So
you can't.
I can enjoy I always look at it. I look at the artist first. I don't look at the Disney logo when
Yeah.
I look at Star Wars. That's not how I process it.
Yeah.
I look at who are the people making it, what are their intentions behind it, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, Dave Filoni has a lot of reverence for George Lucas. I might not like everything he makes. Like he's only human. He makes a mistake every now and again. You
Yeah.
know, not all the Ahsoka episodes hit. Rebels isn't my favorite. You know,
Yeah.
but there's respect in those projects,
Yeah.
even when they falter.
Yeah.
And that's all I asked for.
Gotcha.
That's it.
You ready to
That's
wind
it.
this down?
Let's wind it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So next week, more
Yeah.
Bad Batch.
More Bad Batch.
And forgot about this tomorrow. Battlefront 2, Battlefront 1, the classic collection
Yes.
releases.
Yeah. You gonna be playing?
I'm so bummed. I want to so bad.
Yeah.
but
We're busy. I get it.
I got a few things I have to do this
Yeah,
weekend,
I
but I
get
don't. As soon as I can, though,
Yeah.
might even be setting up some streams for it.
That'd be fun.
I am
It'll
stoked.
be fun.
So have
Yeah.
fun with Battlefront.
Yes.
Have fun with the Bad Batch.
Yes.
We will see you guys
It's true.
next week.